If you read the headlines from the Financial Times or the Wall Street Journal this week, you would believe that Audi is retreating. The narrative is simple. The German giant has scrapped its plan to go fully electric by 2033. They are going back to internal combustion engines. They are admitting defeat. But if you look at the raw supply chain data coming out of Changchun and Ingolstadt, that narrative is not just wrong. It is dangerously misleading. The reality is much colder and much more significant. On August 7th, 2025, Audi launched the E5 Sportback. In the first 30 minutes, they received 10,000 orders. That is more than their entire electric vehicle sales volume in China for the first half of the year combined. How did they do it? They didn't do it with German engineering. They did it by surrendering. Here's the forensic truth that no one is saying out loud. 60% of the core suppliers for this vehicle are Chinese. We are witnessing the end of an era. For 40 years, Western automakers went to China to teach them how to build cars. Today, the roles have fully inverted. Audi is no longer the teacher. They are the student, and they are buying their survival one component at a time. From the battery chemistry to the silicon brains driving the car, the German supply chain has been hollowed out and replaced by a new, hyper-efficient ecosystem. This video is not a review of a car. It is an autopsy of the global automotive power structure. We are going to tear down the bill of materials, analyze the unit economics, and prove why Audi's new strategy is the only mathematical path to survival for legacy auto. To understand the gravity of this moment, we have to look at the timeline. In 1988, Audi entered the Chinese market. For 3 decades, the dynamic was clear. Germany provided the technology, China provided the labor, and the market. This arrogance peaked in 2021 with the Vorsprung 2030 strategy. The plan was absolute. Stop selling internal combustion engines by 2033. It was a strategy built on the assumption that German electric technology would naturally dominate. That assumption collided with thermodynamics and economics in 2025. By June 2025, Audi Global CEO Gernot Döllner had to pull the emergency brake. They canceled the 2033 deadline. The media called it a return to gas. I call it a capital expenditure pivot. They realized that their internal R&D could not compete on cost per kilowatt hour or operations per second. The proprietary data shows a massive strategic shift. Audi is now allocating capital not to develop their own tech, but to integrate Chinese tech. They have moved from a market for technology model to a cash for tech model. This is not a retreat. It is a hostile takeover of their own supply chain by their former students. Let's strip the marketing away and look at the engineering. The heart of the new Audi Q6L e-tron is not German. It is a 107 kilowatt-hour battery pack supplied by CATL. This is not an off-the-shelf purchase. It is a deep integration known as CTM, cell to module. The specifications here are critical. We are looking at NCM 811 chemistry. For those who don't track battery chemistry daily, that means 8 parts nickel, 1 part cobalt, 1 part manganese. This is high-risk, high-reward chemistry designed for maximum energy density, hitting 185 watt-hours per kilogram. But the real story is the safety architecture. Audi is using CATL's NP 2.0 technology. It separates the electrical connections from the thermal runaway vents. In plain English, if a cell explodes, the heat is vented away from the other cells to prevent a chain reaction. This exceeds the Chinese national standard, which only requires a 5-minute warning before fire enters the cabin. Audi demands zero propagation. Furthermore, for their entry-level models, they are bringing in BYD. They are using LFP, lithium iron phosphate, chemistry. Why? Because LFP is significantly cheaper. This high-low strategy, CATL for performance, BYD for cost, is the only way to balance the unit economics across a fleet. No German battery supplier could offer this combination of density and cost. If the battery is the heart, the brain is even more controversial. The new Audi A5L and Q6L are the first vehicles from a centenary luxury brand to fully embrace Huawei's ADS system. Let's look at the silicon. They are using the MDC 810 computing platform. Inside, you find the Ascend 910B chip. This provides 200 TOPS, tera operations per second. Why does this matter? Because the traditional automotive chip suppliers like Bosch or Continental cannot match this integration speed. This system manages a dual LiDAR setup, millimeter wave radar, and cameras in a single fusion layer. It enables navigation on autopilot without high-definition maps. The system's takeover rate on highways is 0.3 times per 100 kilometers. Compare that to the industry average of 0.52. That is a 42% reduction in human intervention. This isn't just a supplier relationship. This is an organ transplant. Audi has grafted a Chinese neural network onto a German chassis. They have even integrated Huawei's algorithms into the transmission control unit, pre-downshifting the gears when the AI predicts an overtaking maneuver. This level of software-hardware fusion usually takes 5 years to develop. Audi did it in 28 months by outsourcing the brain. We are throwing a lot of technical specifications at you: sulfide electrolytes, NCM ratios, and chip architecture metrics. The supply chain landscape in China is moving faster than Western media can track. If you are an automotive engineer, a supply chain analyst, or an investor who needs to see the raw data behind these supplier relationships, I recommend looking at the Volt China EV report on BYD's 2026 solid-state battery technology. It breaks down the competition between CATL, Samsung SDI, and BYD, with granular detail on energy density targets and commercialization timelines. It is a resource we use to verify the claims made by these manufacturers. If you need that level of depth, you can access the report by entering 0 in the price box at the link provided below to download it for free for a limited time. Now, let's talk about the geography of profit. In the automotive business, distance is cost. Audi has established what I call the 30-kilometer kill zone in Changchun. Over 50% of their core suppliers are now located within a 30-kilometer radius of the Audi FAW plant. This is not accidental. It is a strategic moat. By localizing 90% of the parts, they have eliminated the logistics premiums and tariff risks that are currently strangling other European manufacturers. Take a look at a non-core component, the headlights. Audi, the so-called light factory, is now buying headlight control chips from a Chinese company called Micro. Why? Because the Chinese chip costs 30% less and offers 15% better energy efficiency than the European alternative. And crucially, Micro can iterate the design in months, not years. This micro-level substitution is happening across the entire bill of materials. From glass to seats to chips, Audi is systematically replacing expensive German components with Chinese equivalents that are effectively identical in performance but drastically cheaper. We must look at the unit economics. This is where the Wall Street analysis comes in. Right now, Western legacy automakers are facing a brutal reality. For every electric vehicle they sell, they are often losing money or running on razor-thin margins. The industry data suggests that Chinese electric vehicles have a cost structure that is 35% lower than their Western counterparts. Do the math. On a $50,000 car, that is a $17,500 cost disadvantage. By outsourcing the battery, the most expensive component, and the ADAS, the most R&D intensive component, to Chinese partners, Audi is effectively importing that 35% cost advantage into their own balance sheet. They are renting the scale effects of CATL and Huawei. If they tried to build this tech in-house in Germany, the CapEx amortization would bankrupt the program. The E5 Sportback's pricing strategy, offering higher specs at a lower price point than the Q5 e-tron is only possible because of this supply chain arbitrage. They are not just building cars, they are laundering Chinese cost efficiencies through a German brand. So, what is the conclusion? The consensus view that Audi is retreating to gas is superficial. The deep reality is that Audi is executing a Trojan horse strategy. They are keeping the German exterior, but replacing the internal organs with Chinese biotechnology. This is admission that in the era of smart EVs, China is no longer just a factory. It is the architect. Audi's survival depends on how quickly they can cease to be a German automaker and become a Chinese integrator with a German badge. This is not a temporary fix. This is the new permanent structure of the global automotive industry. The 1 + 1 is greater than 2, effect mentioned by their executives, is code for we provide the brand heritage, you provide the future tech. For investors and competitors, the lesson is clear. You cannot compete with Chinese EVs unless you become one. Audi has made its choice. They have chosen survival over pride. The speed of this transformation is unprecedented, and the window to understand these supply chain shifts is closing. Subscribe to master the world's fastest moving tech market before your competitors do.